Hi everyone, I'm Dom from Sony and I'm so excited to be able to introduce to you the latest Xperia flagship, the Xperia 1 Mark IV. The new box design shows off Sony's commitment to reducing their carbon footprint with their Road to Zero initiative, and you'll notice that there are absolutely no plastics used in this packaging. Now it's out of the box, let's take a deeper dive into the handset itself. Once again, Sony have brought innovation and groundbreaking features from all the categories of consumer electronics in which they excel. So we're talking photography, videography, gaming, screen technology, audio, and music. Not to mention the impeccable build quality and the latest spec to help support these new features. But we'll get to that all in good time. Firstly, let's take a look at the brand new camera module on the Xperia 1 Mark IV. The variable telephoto lens from last year's model has now evolved to include new focal lengths to get you even closer to the action, and now offers seamless zoom between lenses, introducing the new True Optical Zoom lens. This new module still has 4 focal lengths available across 3 lenses, but where before you would have to switch between 2 zoom values at the touch of a button and have digital zoom between them, you now have a true optical zoom between these 2 distances. And because Sony have been able to maintain a wide aperture on these zoom lenses, it means you have improved low light performance and you can achieve a beautiful natural bokeh when shooting subjects at a distance. This is made even easier by the fact that you benefit from Sony's real-time tracking, real-time eye autofocus, and their renowned 20 frames per second burst on all the lenses now. If you are unaware of what these features are, previously they were only available on the main lens, but on the Xperia 1 Mark IV, you can now use these features across all the lenses, giving you unprecedented versatility and speed for any picture, anytime. Thanks to these upgraded sensors, the Xperia 1 Mark IV can do 60 calculations every second to track any moving object, including a subject's eye, all around the frame, and shoot 20 photos every single second and maintain that focus, and shoot in HDR at the same time. So let's recap on photography on the Xperia 1 Mark IV. You get upgraded focal lengths for greater zoom, you get true optical zoom between the 85mm and 125mm focal lengths to maintain true photographic quality, a wider aperture at these zoom values for natural bokeh and better low light photography, and you also get Sony's industry-leading real-time eye autofocus, real-time tracking, and 20 frames per second continuous burst mode across all lenses in HDR, thanks to these upgraded sensors. Speaking of those upgraded sensors, they are now all capable of 120 frames per second readout speed. But what does that mean for you? Well, it means that you can now capture high quality 4K 120 FPS slow motion across all focal lengths. But the versatility doesn't stop there. Unlike other smartphones, the Xperia 1 Mark IV will allow you to either shoot slow motion footage dependent on your project's frame rate, or save the 120 frames per second file as it is so you can edit it afterwards in your chosen editing software. Using the first option makes it super simple to create dramatic looking shots, and the second option gives you, the content creator, the ability to stretch your creativity to the max. For example, in this shot, I'm adding in a speed ramp, zooming in and tracking a moving object because I have the extra resolution to play with and the extra flexibility of being able to manipulate each of those 120 frames per second. But that's not all. You now have seamless zoom between all focal lengths. So you can go from 16mm ultra wide, use digital zoom up to 24mm where the lens will stealthily switch to the main camera. And again, digitally zoom up to 85mm where the lens will switch again to the new lens, and then use true optical zoom to take you all the way up to 125mm, maintaining true image quality before digital zoom then takes over for the last part of your zoom. And we are only just getting started with improvements on the video side of things. Introducing Videography Pro on the Xperia 1 Mark IV. Previously only available on the Xperia Pro I, Videography Pro gives you all the tools and customizations that you need as a professional videographer. I mean, we're talking ISO, white balance, shutter speed, frame rate, you name it. You even have Sony's eye autofocus and object tracking in video to help you create more engaging and dynamic content and make sure that you or your subject are always in focus. Videography Pro is built with content creators in mind, allowing you to shoot your videos in the highest quality possible with all the versatility of a professional Sony broadcast camera and a user interface that mimics that of a Sony XD cam. You can even use the Xperia 1 Mark IV as an external monitor for your camera, which is perfect for those times where you need a bigger screen than the one that's already on the back of your camera. And it also gives you that extra freedom on some of your solo filming projects. Now, these features are designed for videographers to incorporate the Xperia 1 Mark IV into their existing workflow or to help create a new streamlined workflow around it. But it's not just Videography Pro itself that can help any aspiring or professional videographer. The Xperia 1 Mark IV now supports Sony's vlog monitor and the Bluetooth grip as well, meaning that you have a fully fledged filming rig that you can carry around in your bag or even your pocket. And let's not forget that you can also round out this little setup here by attaching an external microphone on top and plugging it into the 3.5mm headphone jack on the Xperia 1 Mark IV, or plugging it into the mic input of the vlog monitor itself. So I'm sure you can appreciate by now that when I'm talking about speed on this device, it's not just about how fast the smartphone is or how many frames per second it can process in 4K, but it's also about how it can speed up your workflow and optimize your content creation to get your ideas out there as quickly as possible and in as high a quality as possible. And there is no more immediate way of getting your content out there than live streaming. You can now live stream directly from Videography Pro and the external monitor app, enabling you to connect to an entirely new audience on social media or reach your existing audience in a new way. It's super simple to set up, and once you're ready to go live, you just press this button here. Now, before I move on to the features and improvements on the Xperia 1 Mark IV's display, I've got to tell you about this new front-facing camera, which obviously now you can use within Videography Pro to shoot your content or even live stream. We have gone from an 8-megapixel to a 12-megapixel selfie camera, but as we all know, it's not just about megapixels. The sensor itself is now over double the size of the previous selfie camera sensor, which brings with it some awesome capabilities, such as 4K HDR video and a larger pixel pitch, which of course leads to brighter, clearer and sharper selfies. That was an awful lot of new stuff in videography, so let's do a quick recap. You now have Videography Pro on the Xperia 1 Mark IV, giving you tools such as eye autofocus and object tracking, so you can use it as a proper production camera. You have seamless zoom across all the lenses for a more versatile experience. You also have 4K 120 FPS slow motion across all the lenses to add drama to any shot. You have compatibility with Sony's Bluetooth grip and the vlog monitor for an all-in-one filming rig. And not only can you use the vlog monitor with the Xperia 1 Mark IV, you can also use the Xperia 1 Mark IV as a monitor itself. You can also live stream directly from Videography Pro and the external monitor app, complete with all your video settings accessible during your stream to give you an extra professional touch on your content. And finally, the new selfie camera has an upgraded sensor for more detail, dynamic range, and better low-light performance. Not to mention the fact that all of this has been achieved whilst maintaining a minimal bezel on the top. Now, let's talk about gaming on the Xperia 1 Mark IV. And let's start with one of the biggest additions to Game Enhancer, the ability to live stream your gameplay directly from the device itself. What I'll do now is show you what I see whilst streaming and show you what your audience would see and hear at the same time. Now, within the recording settings, you can set up your live stream for your audience through your chosen streaming account, complete with video description, hashtags, and you can even create or add your own thumbnail to help stand out online and increase your discoverability. You can also create a basic stream overlay within Game Enhancer and even customize it even further with pictures from your own camera roll. Once you've started streaming, you can then choose to share your stream on social media, and whilst you're streaming, you can also see your likes, how many viewers you have, keep an eye on your chat, subscribers gained, and also your super chat, so you can interact with your audience on a more personal level. You can also have your latest chat appear on your screen for everyone to see, or hide it so you can concentrate on the game at hand. You can change your stream settings, including your audio mix, so your audience can hear you and your game audio clearly, and if you have the rest of your team on a third-party voice chat app running in the background, you can actually add them to your stream audio as well, so your audience feel like part of the team dynamic. And let's not forget that you can actually have a better in-game chat experience by using an existing gaming headset, thanks to the Xperia 1 Mark IV's 3.5mm headphone jack. But let's say you want to change the game you're playing mid-stream. You can actually go ahead and pick a different game, change your stream title and tags, all without disconnecting, so you don't lose that momentum you've built up in your stream. And you can do all this behind an automatic privacy screen which pops up as soon as you exit the game to protect your personal stuff from being on show to all of your viewers. But why use Game Enhancer's live feature anyway? Speed. Speed and convenience, first and foremost. If you want to stream your gameplay, have control over your audio mix, your privacy, your chat, and your Game Enhancer settings, there is no faster way to get online and connect with your audience than this method right here, because it's all built in, ready to use at a moment's notice. But for those more advanced streamers who use streaming software on their PC, you can actually plug the Xperia 1 Mark IV directly into your capture card. And this way you can benefit from the Game Enhancer audio equalizer feature, keep your headset plugged directly into the Xperia, manage your game and mic audio as well as the audio from your team in your third-party voice chat app. And of course, if you prefer to record your gameplay and share your highlights after the fact, you have the ability to either record your entire gaming session in up to 120 frames per second, or activate rewind time record so you never fail to capture the unexpected whilst gaming. All with custom game and voice chat audio mixing, and you still have Game Enhancer's focus settings so you can zero in on your gaming. Custom settings to maximize the performance of your Xperia 1 Mark IV, and display and sound settings to fine-tune the audio and visuals to your liking. It's also built for gaming with the latest Snapdragon Gen 1 mobile platform and 12GB of RAM to handle the most intense games available, as well as DualShock 4 and DualSense 5 wireless controller compatibility. And also, the upgraded 5000 mAh battery is protected from overheating whilst gaming, thanks to heat suppression power control in Game Enhancer. Now let's talk about entertainment on the Xperia 1 Mark IV. Now, you may ask yourself, how does Sony improve on a display that was already ahead of the curve? After all, Sony have already produced the world's first 4K HDR OLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate, complete with 21:9 aspect ratio to make cinematic content more immersive, and creator mode, so you can see films through the eyes of the director exactly how they wanted you to, with true-to-life color accuracy. Well, the way Sony improve on this is by making the Xperia 1 Mark IV up to 50% brighter than last year's model, giving you an improved viewing experience in brighter conditions, and adding the new real-time HDR drive. What is that? Well, again, it's down to the speed of this device. The Xperia 1 Mark IV uses information from the ambient light sensor and a dynamic analysis of the brightness and tone of each and every frame of your content to optimize the HDR performance in real time. So, what does that mean? It means that HDR content looks phenomenal all the time. And let's not forget that the Xperia 1 Mark IV also has the X1 for mobile engine, specifically designed to upscale and expand the dynamic range of your standard dynamic range content to ensure it looks its absolute best at all times. But, as I always say, entertainment isn't just about gorgeous visuals, it's also about awesome audio. And the Xperia 1 Mark IV has stepped up the audio performance yet again with some upgraded speakers. Not only are the speakers front-facing and support Dolby Atmos, but they both have a booster specifically for the low-range frequencies, meaning you get some more of that all-important bass in your music and a more immersive experience when watching movies and videos. The Xperia 1 Mark IV is also 360 Reality Audio certified, meaning that not only can you enjoy Sony's newest music format to its fullest extent through the speakers themselves or through wired or wireless headphones, you can now upmix your standard MP3s or streamed content to a 360 Reality Audio-like experience. This puts you in the music. It's different to stereo panning, it's different to Dolby Atmos. It's like you are with the artist or band in the middle of the music as it happens all around you. And speaking of musical artists, Sony has now brought a brand new feature specifically aimed at musicians to help them hone their craft, whether it be songwriting, performing, or collaborating. Introducing Music Pro. Firstly, the artist or artists open up Music Pro and start a new project and add whichever tracks they will need. They can also monitor their audio with super low latency using the headphone jack and even tweak the EQ or add reverb to their monitor mix to help them get more comfortable with their sound. Once they're happy with their take, they can hit edit, where they can trim, adjust volumes, and use Sony's studio tuning service. Using this unique feature means that the track is uploaded to Sony's cloud processing service, where Sony's AI algorithms separate the vocal and the instruments into their own tracks. Ambient room noise is then removed, and studio mic simulations are added to these tracks to make them sound like they're recorded in a professional studio. Once the tracks have been treated, they are automatically downloaded and imported into the project, where the artist can edit and adjust them separately. Once the mix is just right, they can then export either the finished mixed track or the stems. The addition of Music Pro to the growing Pro portfolio of apps on Xperia devices really demonstrates how Sony are striving to put professional tools in your hands and make them as accessible as possible. That way, when inspiration hits, you now have the means to create your next piece of content in your pocket and get it out there as quickly as possible. Also knowing that you have the power of Sony behind you to ensure that it is as good as it can possibly be. Now, lastly, let's talk about hardware on this handset. I mean, it is built to last inside and out. I've already mentioned about the processor and the battery size, but it also has wireless charging and battery share, which now also works whilst the handset is plugged in. So now you can charge both devices with just one cable. You also have Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and back, but the rear glass is this beautiful matte finish, which pairs fantastically with the fine-grained matte finish on the metal frame. And of course, it is IP6568 water resistant and dust proof to protect the outside of the device, but also has all of the battery health features to protect the inside of the handset as well. So battery care, Xperia adaptive charging, and stamina mode, they all ensure that you have a healthy battery even after 3 years of usage. So there you have it, the new Xperia 1 Mark IV from Sony, leveling up in photography, videography, gaming, entertainment and music, all with the concept of speed at its core and with content creators and content consumers in mind. Now, at the end of the day, Sony is renowned for its content. I mean, you've got Sony Music, Sony Pictures, Sony PlayStation. But you've got to remember that all that stuff starts with an artist or a content creator, a person. And the Xperia 1 Mark IV puts the power to create that art or that content in your hands. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, share your favorite feature in the comments down below, and subscribe to the Sony Xperia channel for the latest in product news, tips and tricks. And I will see you next time, or in one of my streams.